culture is very special. Our image is very important to us as it is to any group. But we are a special group, and because of that, we are attacked in every angle possible, okay? We understand the system that we're in and some of the tactics they use. And one of them is, a big part of it at least, attacking our image, okay? And one aspect of that is how black men, we're going to get into black men and black women, but we're going to start with black men, how black men are portrayed, okay? Right now, there's a big push to effeminize black men. There's always been that. We know that. But a part of that is even just like subtly in the way they dress. A lot of the social media influencers, the rappers, we got the nails painting, they wearing purses, they wearing skirts, we got the hoochie daddy shorts. It's egregious, okay, to say the least. So how do you think, first of all, how do y'all feel about it? We'll get into that first because y'all are black men. How do y'all feel about the imagery that is being pushed for especially young black men today?
I believe that the main problem that we're facing right now in our community in terms of trying to take the black man and turn him into a black woman and trying to take the black woman and turn her into a black man, the main problem that we have with that situation is they know that's how you mess up the black family. If you go after the black man individually or the black woman individually, you're taking down the black family collectively. So this is something that we have to stop. And one of the main things they try to use is entertainment. So entertainment in terms of hip hop music, R&B music, pink fingernails, lavender fingernails, purple fingernails. Anytime you see this, you can understand that it's not just about the individual that is being affected by it. It's about all of us. So we have to be very, very careful, and we have to watch this type of stuff because that type of energy is the type of energy that brings down the black family as a whole. So I believe that we have to, basically stay true to our tradition. And anytime we remove ourselves from our traditions and we start going into other things, that's the type of the nonsense that ends up folding us up. So yeah, I've been having my eye on it as well as all of us have. And we just got to maintain, nothing beats that type of, agenda more than being pro-black family.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's true. First off, shout out to Dr. Frances Cress Welsing because she predicted this years ago. And a lot of times when she predicted this, people were like, no, men aren't going to be wearing skirts. Men aren't going to, that's never going to happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? But she saw this all the way back in the day when she was speaking about it, when she was writing books about it. She predicted this and people didn't believe her then. The image is very important because going back to not the Civil War, going back to the Jim Crow era when they were essentially calling us animals and everything like that, they used that to justify harming us. And what black society did during the Civil Rights Movement, we put our image out in a positive, respectful, and mature, and almost to a degree divine image. So what they decided to do is now they're using their media and they can't say, okay, you guys are animals like that. They're eventually going to go back to it. That's their plan is to go back to that by degendering. All right. That's part of their plan is to degender, because when you degender a human being to a degree, you're stripping that human of humanity. When you take a man's masculinity away, to a degree, you're taking his humanity away. When you take a woman's femininity away or womanhood away, to a degree, you're dehumanizing. You're essentially saying that, like, we don't recognize a male horse and a female horse as really two different things like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're different in some way, but it's a horse. And they do this specifically. We understand it's an agenda because they do this specifically with black people, specifically foundational black Americans. And they change it up and they say things like, okay, this is progressive. Before they were all like, black people are bad and this is their image. These are the bad people's image. So now what they're doing after the fact that we're like, we need more positive images, they're like, okay, we'll give you positive images. And then we'll have this guy in a wedding dress and we'll have the girl in combat boots and shit like that. We'll do that. And that's progressive. You know, and then when you say something like, no, that's not it. Oh, well, that's toxic masculinity, or you're being a hotep and stuff like that. You should let people live the way they want to live. And they use that to gaslight any defense or counter for people who understand what their agenda really is.
That is a huge way of how they attack black men, black people in general, because we about to get into black women as well, because they do the same thing, or similar. But, you know, not having a masculine figure as the image for our men, you know, it weakens not only the men, but it weakens us. It looks us look weaker as a people in general, you know. So that's a big tactic. You know, I absolutely agree. But they also do the same thing or they do similar things with women. It's more of a masculine thing. Like you said, they have the tomboys. They'll push the, more masculine behaviors. But then there's also the aspect of over-sexualizing, okay? We got the sexy reds. We got the Sukis with the good coochies. And that brings a totally different image than what we are and what we want to be, what we strive to be, especially our ancestors and our elders. It's completely different from our culture, and so although we do have those anomalies, or we got the minority of our group that is degenerate or over-sexualized, that is not the representation for all of us, especially as Black women, but that is the push that they choose to they put at the forefront of our image for Black women, because they want us to be seen, again, they want to dehumanize us. They want us to be seen as just a horse. Well, why do they need to be protected if they're loose? They want this is the energy that they want. They don't want to be protected. They don't want to be feminine. They don't want to be a wife. They don't want to teach their children. This is not at the forefront. This is not at the top of their priority list. Although it should be, and it is. For the most of us.
I know a lot of women who are grievously offended by that, who take that, especially that being postered as the image or the representation of them as Black women, to high degrees of offense. Okay, I know that. And then there are some who, unfortunately, they go out of their way and be like, oh, why is this that big of a deal? You guys are looking too deep into it. Anytime a Black woman says, okay, this is wrong, you shouldn't be out here doing this. There's videos of some, and of course they're not the representation, hood rats on tables in restaurants. And then when Black women be all like, you shouldn't be acting like that, they get called a pick me.
Right.
Oh, why are you a pick me? Why are you, you just want a man, and it's stuff like this. So it's a lot of the people who do stuff like that. And then there are Black women who push against it, but the dominant society elevates the degenerate class. They elevate the Sukihanas.
Exactly.
They give them these big platforms and these big channels. When the pick me, quote unquote, women who push against it, they have a hard time getting their message out. Their message is shadow banned. Their message is taken down in some cases.
Yep. I can attest to that.
Yes. So anytime you see a Black woman standing on what the culture should be and how they should be represented, you see the powers that be silence her and elevate the woman who all like, it don't matter, shake your ass, and you know what I'm saying? So you see that. A lot of women take offense to that, and then some women just like, I don't want to deal with it. I feel like the women I know who are becoming more comfortable speaking out against it, that's a good thing, and we need more of that, because when the thing is that they're trying to say the majority is this way, and that's not the truth.
Right.
And if the majority says, no, we're not this way, then they really, the narrative is countered.
Brother, I got to second that. One of the things I always tell people is that the most misrepresented person in America is the Black woman, where they take Black women and they pretty much take all of what I call certified sisters. They take our certified sisters and they put them to the back line, and then they bring in all of these hood rats, all of these undesirables. Tell me, who is the dominant society version of Sukihana? There ain't one. Who's the dominant society version of Sexy Red? There ain't one. And if there was one, the dominant society would shut that down ASAP. But when you start talking about the Lizzos of the world, or you start talking about the Megan Thee Stallions of the world, they're going to get put on the forefront in terms of Saturday Night Live. They're going to get the BET Awards. They're going to get the Grammy Awards. Yeah. The same behavior that the dominant society claims that they cannot stand in real life, okay? The ones they call welfare queen, that's the same one that you give that Grammy to, though, right? So you see the hustle and the agenda that they try to put forth on us, and it's on all of us to, go ahead and fight that agenda. And what I've been blessed with is to be around real certified Black women. I have. So I know what it look like, and I know what it don't look like. Okay. So when you start talking about our certified sisters, it's on our women to really reject those type of females that get put on the forefront. And it's also on our men to reject all of the, nonsense that they throw at us as well. So it's a collective effort. And I would, ask everybody out there, name me one person from any other community that gets put up, on a high level that talks down or gives bad images of their community, and then look at our community and how that occurs, and then go ahead and dismiss those people. Those people should not be role models. Those people should not be widespread. And we have to really just start with rejecting things. Everyone talks about boycotting, right? Well, we can really start with not just boycotting stores. We can boycott these images of these people that they put in front of us to pollute the brain. Because I always tell people, the young women are watching. the young women are watching. So every time they put Sukihana or, you know, Cardi B, and half these women aren't even foundational Black Americans.
Really?
Yeah, most of
Read
them,
that
yeah.
part.
Who's the foundational Black American woman in hip hop? There's like 2 of them, and then there's another 30 that are non-FBA. You know, so we see the agenda, you know, in terms of the community. We see the agenda in terms of, you know, in terms of the gender. But it's on us to go ahead and boycott it, and as I always say, reject it. I'd ask you, sister, how's it changed you and the people you've seen around you?
Definitely. Well, one, let me say, as far as hip hop goes, I've never really listened to, you know, hip hop is male dominated.
Yes.
So I've never really listened to that many female artists, but now there's literally like, I don't even think I could think of literally even one. The ones that I am thinking of, maybe like a Tierra Whack or like a, it's another sister I'm thinking about, but that's not like sexuality is not at the forefront of their brand.
Right.
They're like it's literally like none. You know, like that's at a platform that has the same platform as a Cardi B or a Meg Thee Stallion. Like they're nowhere near that.
That's true.
You know, that level. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that is intentional. So a lot of times you got to go back and look at. I got to listen to like Queen Latifah,
Yep.
you and ITY. I got to listen to some MC like if I do want to get a little taste of some Left Eye. If I do want to get a little taste of female hip hop, to be honest, because right now you're gonna get the same things. It's gonna be coochie popping. It's gonna be using niggas, tricking niggas. All time, you know, that's like the main gist of all of their songs, all of their content. You know, so there's really nothing but programming within it. You know. But I have seen the influence affect, especially younger girls. You know, you got the Ice Spice one in particular, who's an industry plant, if you know, you know.
Yes.
But she has had a huge impact on young girls. You know, I have nieces and nephews as well, but my niece is one of my oldest niece. She listens to her music all the time, you know, and then I start to see her pick up the mannerisms and, you know, so children are very easily influenced, you know? And so when they see these images and they're propped up and they're getting, she's getting all this attention from the men, she's getting all these stamps from the women as well, then they think that that's the goal to get there, you know? So now it makes my job harder, or my sister's job, the mothers in my family jobs harder to push them to be righteous, you know, because now it doesn't look cool. Now it looks like you're the lame girl, you're coy, you're a prude, you know. That doesn't look like the way to go, especially when you get to that age. My oldest niece is like 11, so she's getting towards the age of boys, you know, understanding, you know, relationships and stuff like that. She goes to a public school. Some of the little girls in there faster, you know. Some of them LGBTQ, you know, that's another thing they push as well. These female influencers, they pushing the lesbianism hard.
Yes.
All right. I mean, even if it's not like straight up lesbianism, it's like something surround, like it's still in the realm of it. They kissing girls, you know, they rubbing on each other. They, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, even if they're not, they could have husbands, you know. Cardi B is married, but look at the music video with her and Megan Thee Stallion. You would think that they scissoring in one of their last videos. You know, it's like like what? This is not normal behavior. You know, you don't kiss your friends. I don't kiss my girlfriends. That's weird. You know,
Yeah,
But this is something that's being normalized. You know, they're trying to normalize, and so that affects the minds heavily of our children because now they're looking like, oh, well, this is okay. This is normal. This is I can date a boy. Or I can date a girl. I could, you know, I could dress like this and still get all the men I want, still get all the attention I want. Oh, this is okay. And they're not realizing the long-term effects that you, shout out to Kevin Samuels, you're going to end up buying a dog and dying alone. Okay? Or you're going to end up with a simp. Or you're going to end up with a Negro who's not in a position that you want him to be in, you know, because you're not in a position that a man that you want to be in, you're not it. You know, you're not a wife. You know, you've been programmed to be a whore. But let me say, some of the women I know now that's around my age, they're not even prioritizing. A lot of them aren't prioritizing family. If they do have children, they're not prioritizing teaching their children because they're caught up in the club culture. They're caught up in the whore culture. They're caught up in the, you know, things that don't really, I'm not going to say they don't matter, but aren't a part of what we need for the culture to progress us, especially for our children, you know?